Hi everyone, welcome to our next Teach It Right Tuesday update video. These will be the messages for the 19th of October. We've got a lot of exciting things to relay to you, so we'll make a start. So first of all, just a reminder, these are the Teach It Right Tuesday updates for the 19th of October. And the first thing that we need to talk to you about are our results, which were released last Friday. So for children that took the exam in September, they've now received their results. And I'm very pleased to announce that all of our students did incredibly well. And we've been absolutely overwhelmed with messages of success and children doing incredibly well, getting their required standardised scores. And we'd just like to say a huge well done to all the children and of course all the parents for supporting the children so well right the way throughout the year. We know that it was a challenging year for a lot of children. We had online lessons, we were then face-to-face, and it was slightly disrupted, but we felt children were very resilient, very determined, and certainly all that hard work has certainly paid off. We'll be able to give you far more information about the statistics of our results, but we certainly know a number of our children have done incredibly well and passed their CEM, their GL or their Reading Boys exam. So we're very proud, and we certainly will be letting you know a little bit more about that as the weeks go ahead. We're also very excited because we are just about to go into block 2. So this coming Saturday, we'll be starting our English and Maths block for children in Year 5. I'm very much looking forward to starting that with our students. The children will get a number of books, as always, some of which will look very similar. The content is the same inside. Just to make parents aware that Let's has now actually been taken over by Collins. Most of the books that are now in print will be Collins books. There are still some old stock that they're holding which are Let's. So I hope that doesn't confuse you too much. The content inside is exactly the same. And of course we'll make sure that our tutors explain very clearly to the children exactly the tasks that they need to be doing. We'll also be using some of the books later on in the block as well, or later on in the year, so just be aware there will be some pages that we don't want children doing because they will need those books later on during the academic year. For our Year 4 children, they will predominantly be focusing on non-verbal reasoning. I know the children that are doing Reading Boys, they'll be doing creative writing, but most of our students will be focusing on non-verbal reasoning in block 2. They will also be issued with a number of books to use both for their homework but also in class. We would ask children to make sure that they clearly label their books up, and it is one of the messages that has come back from the centres, just to make sure that children do write their names really clearly on the front, and also put their surnames as well, because we often have a number of children with the same first name. The creative writing course that we run at St Joseph's College will be focusing on writing, but also SPAG for those children that are going for Reading Boys, and that will be something that will start this weekend. So we'll be actually splitting the children out into different groups depending on what their focus needs to be, because of course for Reading Boys they no longer have to focus on non-verbal reasoning. Just some of the messages that have come out of the centres. As I say, the new books will be issued this weekend, so please do ensure that your child has labelled them clearly. Of course, our tutors will continually remind them, but just make sure they are labelled clearly. It really helps our markers as well. Also, this is a message that I have mentioned before, but please do ensure your child is punctual for their lessons. We tend to start with the spelling test, and if a child does arrive late, unfortunately they may have to miss out on that particular element of the lesson, because we do need to start punctually at the beginning. So please just try and make sure you're there on time. As I've always said, we value the time with your child, and it's so important they are there on time. Just a couple of reminders about key dates there. Half term, of course, runs between the 25th to the 29th of October. Our weekly lessons won't be running then. We have got some camps and things running, but there will be no Teach It Right lessons on the 30th and 31st of October. Our parent meetings have been running really, really well. It's been lovely to meet some of you for the first time over Zoom. Talk about your child's progress, but also answer any questions that you may have about the Teach It Right courses. And please do feel free to ask any questions during those sessions of your tutors, but also usually I'm actually there in the foyer, putting people into breakout rooms, and I'm always happy to answer any questions that you may have about the exam system or anything generally that you want to know. We have announced this a number of times in our Teach It Right update videos. We do have a new creative writing course running over half term that will be run by Josephine Allen. There are only 4 places left on that course. So please, if you are interested, there's a last opportunity to sign up. We have extended the discount code right up until the date of the course. So if you are able to book on that and you would like to come along and join us and boost your child's writing skills, because I know they're going to learn so much over those 3 days, then please just visit our website under the shop and you can book that creative writing camp. But don't forget to enter your discount code. The parent workshops that we have run this term have been based mainly around verbal reasoning. So we are running some non-verbal reasoning ones after half term, focusing on both 2D and spatial reasoning question types. The first one will run on November the 21st between 4 to 6 o'clock. This will be on a Sunday and that is now available to book. That will focus on the GL element. On November the 28th, the following week, we will focus on the CEM and the spatial reasoning. So do come and join us for that. Louise was super buoyant after this weekend because I think she had her greatest turnout for her book club, and she is running again this Sunday afternoon and focusing on The Iron Man, which I know is one of her favourite books. And if you'd like your child to come along and join Louise and share a snippet of their own book, I know she would love to see you. There won't be a session the following weekend due to half term, but she will be carrying on after half term right up until Christmas. So please do come and join Louise. I know she really loves hearing children read aloud and just sharing some of their wonderful books. Just also another little reminder about our homework support club that's run by Tahira Arshad. This won't be happening next Monday, again due to half term, but we are returning on the 1st of November. Thank you to all the children that have come along and taken part in that homework support club. I know Tahira often says how great the children are at being really sensible, working quietly through tasks, but also asking any questions that they may have. So please do join us after half term if you have any questions about your homework and want a little bit more support. I appreciate it doesn't always run in parallel with your lessons, but that doesn't matter. You can come along and certainly join in with whatever homework you need to get done. Our tip of the week will be focusing on verbal reasoning this Tuesday. We're going to be looking at a specific question type called missing 3-letter word. And I often introduce this one quite early on in the academic year because it is one of those ones that is good fun to practice, but certainly does sometimes cause a few problems for children, particularly in terms of their spelling and their word knowledge. So I thought I'd just talk you through an example and just show you how we would teach it. And this may well be a question type that your child has to practice at home. The idea behind it is the child is given a sentence, that gives some context to the sentence, and then they're given a series of capital letters, and they need to work out what the missing word is from those capital letters. But of course the sentence will provide some context to that word. So let's read it, and I thought it was fairly apt with lots of school plays happening over the autumn term. I thought this was quite a good one. In the school play, the boy stood up to something the story. Now, we've got to make sure that the word that we put in there, of course, does make sense. Now, if the boy was standing up and, of course, he's telling the story, we need another word for telling the story. And the word we're looking for, and we've got some letters to give us a little bit of a clue, so you might have worked it out already, is the word narrate. Now, if I spell narrate, and I'm spelling it out in capitals, it's sometimes easier to do that because obviously the letters were in capitals as well. And I need to cross out the letters that I was given. And this will hopefully leave a hidden 3-letter word. So let's see if it works. We were given an N. We were given an A, given an R and given an E. Therefore, we're left with rat. And if we reveal it behind the box, rat was the answer. So there's a few skills that children need for this particular question type. Spelling, of course, is important because if you don't spell the word correctly, you may not be left with a three-letter word. But it's also about word knowledge as well. How many of your children would have known the word narrate? So it is really important to build up their vocabulary, and this certainly will be a question type we'll be practicing a lot at Teachitright over the year because it can be part of the Reading Boys syllabus under English vocabulary, but it can also be a GL assessment question type as well. So the tip of the week for this week is missing three-letter word. The other thing that you know we do weekly is a resource feature, and this week we are looking at a magnetic cube. Now, for the ones of you that have ever done cubes and nets, and this will certainly be something that we'll focus on in the next block when we come back to verbal and non-verbal reasoning, we teach a question type which is often seen as one of the hardest in non-verbal reasoning, and that is cubes and nets. And we've discovered a wonderful resource which enables children to draw on the faces, fold up the cube, and get some really good visualization skills around what happens when you have a net and it's folded up and where those particular images will be on those different faces. It is a resource that you can purchase. It's quite expensive. It's £15 on Amazon. However, Teachitright has bought a number of these in, and we do use them not only in our revision camps, but we use them in our classes with our pupils as well. So if you are interested in getting your own, you can, but it has always been a wonderful way of teaching cubes and nets, looking at things like opposite faces, hence why some of the faces have different colours, because, for example, in the one that we can see here, the blues can't touch, the greens can't touch, the reds can't touch, and therefore we could eliminate some of the options. What I will do is also in our tip of the week, I will also show an example of a cubes and nets question and how this resource feature can be used. But we thought we'd mention it to you just because it's a wonderful, wonderful resource to use with non-verbal reasoning and cubes and nets. So important dates. Our parent meetings roll on for this evening and Wednesday and Thursday night. Louise's book club runs again on Sunday, last opportunity before the half-term holidays. As you know, with our homework club, we're not there this coming Monday, but we will be back on the 1st of November. And just to let you know, our non-verbal parent workshop is on the 21st of November. Just a reminder there about our half-term dates and, of course, no Teachitright lessons on the 30th and 31st of October. And that leads me to say I wish you all a wonderful half-term holiday. I think the children certainly deserve a well-earned rest and respite, and hopefully ready to go when we recommence our lessons from the 1st of November. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye-bye.